is it going? Sith Holocron here from the Dongers of Runeterra with a new kind of a deck video predominantly aimed at people who have just started, who haven't got the best of decks and don't really know what staple cards are in the meta from the word go. So this video is pretty much to all players. If you need to craft cards from any region, this video is going to show you the staple cards that you need to craft to make a meta deck that wins. And let's be honest, winning's a lot better than losing. You feel good. You don't when you lose. So let's go into how we do this. I'm just going to go into the collection first, and I'm going to take region by region. So we'll start off with Bilgewater, and we will go up in here and we'll do them one at a time. And I'm going to give you 3 champions, 3 main cards you need 3 of, and 3 main spells you need 3 of at a bare minimum to succeed in this wonderful CCG. So let's go to Bilgewater, and quite frankly you need Misfortune, Twisted Fate and Nautilus. Nautilus are just for deep decks, so then you will need every sea monster in the game as at least a 2 or 3 of. That's as an aside. If you need deep, you also need to toss cards, so things like Jettison are really good and stuff like that. Really, Dredgers is a superb card for deep decks. You can find a whole load of pre-made decks that are like S tier, A tier, tier 1, tier 2, whatever you want to call it. You can download the deck code from things like Mobalytics and Decks of Runeterra. Find it, see the cards that you're missing, and then start crafting that way. But if you're not too sure you'd like to build your own decks, which I don't know if a lot of people who do CCGs do, here are my tips for each of the 7 regions. I would suggest Nautilus, as deep is an actual deck. I don't like the mechanic, so I don't play deep and never probably will. And the other 2 are Misfortune and Twisted Fate, as they're not only very good together, they're very synergistic with other regions. So which spells do you need? So an awful lot of these are drawing cards and attacking, so that's a nice little one. You're doing 1 to the enemy nexus, that would help Gangplank. Warning Shot is good for plundering, and seeing as you want to plunder, then you need these 2 cards. Jagged Butcher's now a 3/3. This nabs a card from your opponent's deck, which is really decent. Slotbot is really kind of fun. I don't know if you need 3 of them, but that's quite a fun card anyway. And these are all the monsters that you want for deep decks. Shipwreck Order, Riptide Rex. Riptide Rex is at least a 3 of. Dreadway's really good as it deals skill spells and all ally abilities double what it's meant to be. Spells, pretty good. Actually, try and get one of these. Citrus Courier is really good, because if you plunder and you've hit the Nexus, you heal all your allies, heal your Nexus 3 and then rally, which is superb. Zap's a very good card as well, because he's elusive in this thing, which is normally Ionia's thing. For spells, Chum the Waters is good, but not really with these guys. They're better for other cards. Other spells that you need: Make It Rain, absolute staple, must have. It's only a common card that costs so little, it is untrue to make one of these. Same with Pilfered Goods. If you can nab 1 and plunder, then you get 1 more, and then if you've already got this out, then you're reducing cost by 1. It's so good. It is so good. Jailbreak's okay. Parley's really strong. So there's enough little cards in here that's really good. If you've got Twisted Fate, get a couple of these each. Definitely, they are fantastic cards to help you draw and then level him up really well. And outside of that, that's pretty much all the cards that you want from Bilgewater. So this is going to be about a 10 to 15 minute video tops to show you which cards you actually need. So let's go to Demacia. Fiora was huge, not so much any longer. And there are 2 ways of looking at this. You need Garen as a 3, you need Lux as a 3, and then take your pick between, you either want Lucian and then Senna, who is down here, and go that route, or you go for Quinn and you pair Quinn with Misfortune from Bilgewater and off you go. The cards that you need, well, Demacia plays on Curve, and Curve is play unit at 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5 mana, so your 2 1s would be, you would want 3 each of these, and then you want at least 2 of 3 of that and 3 of this one. And then if you're going Challenger, that's good for 3, that's good for 3, Senna's good for 3, Vanguard Sergeant's good for 3. These are all really good. Badger Bear, good for 3. And depending whether you're going Scouts or Challenger or whatever, you get the 3 of. Then we get into cards that you must have 3s of. Grizzled Ranger is an absolute must have 3 in a Demacia deck. Same with Vanguard Bannerman, a must have 3 of in any banner deck. Radiant Guardian, again a must have 3 of in any Demacia deck. And then take your pick between maybe even 1 or 2 of the quite expensive purple epics. It was always Cythria, +1/+1 fearsome this round. This one is summon, give allies 1/1. Loses the fearsome, but you get that every time you attack. This one, Challenger and Scout. So, well good. Well good. Spells, pretty simple. These guys are duelists. So, Riposte, a 3 of, absolutely. Relentless Pursuit, they want to hit you right back, especially if you've got quick attacks, are excellent. Single Combat is an amazing card in Demacia deck, and Purify will stop anything happening for recurring things. So, for instance, somebody drops a War Chief, they're playing Demacia, you can silence that follower, that no longer gets the +1/+1, and those are the like Ranger's Resolve is kind of good, Chain Vest is kind of good as it gives an ally tough, but for the same thing you can give all allies tough. Why would you not have 3 of these instead of 1 of those, and it's the same price? So that is the Demacia region. Now let us go on to Freljord. So Freljord is very interesting. Patch 1.5 is coming out in the next day or so. We'll have to wait and see what it is. They buffed Ananivia. I don't think she's the best one. I think the 3 that you want are Ashe, Braum, and Swajani. The buff to Braum is phenomenal. Ashe is always really strong, and Swajani is really strong. Tryndamere you can just get it as a one-of at some stage. It's not really that big a deal, to be completely honest. Freljord is a bit unique in the fact that all their spells are either burst or really slow. And that's it. There's no fast things. They're all just burst, slow. That's it. You can't get a fast spell off. So the burst automatically goes through. And Entreat is really good if you are basing your thing around Braum. It'll draw a champion. It's a really good one. The 2 1-cost ones are fantastic. Frostbite and enemy through less health and Elixir of Iron. You definitely want 3 each of these because they are so good. Other really good spells. Take Heart, grant an enemy ally 3/3. Phenomenal if you're using Braum. It is so good. It is frightening. Avalanche, 3 of, superb against smaller units as it does 2 to everything. Just remember it does the same damage to your side of the board that it does to theirs. And one of the best spells in the game. Give an ally 4/4 this round to just ruin someone's absolute day. There is Harsh Winds as well, also a 3 of, Frostbite to enemies, brilliant when you're getting overwhelmed. And then we're going to get into the cards that you absolutely need. They Who Endure was one of the best decks in the meta. It was a 6 cost, it's now a 7 cost, which is okay until you realise that that's the same cost as Atrocity, and your 12/12 or 13/13 Endure gets blown off the board the turn you put it down. So maybe just a one of this, as that deck has fallen from the meta. All of these are kind of good. Like Verinia is a decent game ender. Tusk Raider is a decent game ender, but not really phenomenal. War Mother's Call is just absolutely superb in an Anivia deck, and outside of that, it's total trash. Alpha Wildclaw, it's good as a 6 spot, but it's not brilliant. What you really want is to stop their big enemies coming, so if a fully loaded up Deep Nautilus hits, then you need this, and it'll just frostbite the strongest enemy, which is phenomenal. Avazarian Hearthguard is a bit like Omen Hawk. So Omen Hawk's the 1/1 that grants the top 2 allies 1/1. This guy's 5 times more mana, but 5 times the stats, as he's a 5/5, and grants every ally in your deck +1. 3 of those, please, because that is fantastic. Avalanche, really good, but we spoke about that before. Rimefang Wolf, if you're going for the whole freeze thing, if it has 0 power, kill it. That's really handy. That's a really handy thing to do. Flash Freeze, very good. Healing always helps, so heal an ally in your Nexus 3. Vorzian Trapper is just superb. In the top 3 cards of your deck, you get in a 5/5, and that is just ridiculous. And the other 2 ones that you really do need 3s of: Icefield Archer, Frostbite an Enemy, and Omen Hawk for the 1/1s, because it's probably the best 1/1 in the game. Not the best one drop, because I still think that's Cytherea the Bold, who was in Demacia, and she is fantastic. And also another 3 of. Let's go to Ionia, the spelly people. So here we go. Lee Sin's only starting to get played now. He's not really that good. You can leave him. Yay. Karma, Shen, and Zed are all brilliant. If you like magic, you go for him. If you like stun or recalling, for this. And Ionia is the deck to stun and recall everything. Shen's all barriers, and Zed is quick attack and ephemeral sort of stuff. Any of those 3 of those 4 are perfect. Definitely 100% get Karma. She pairs with Lux. She pairs with Ezreal. She's coming back into the meta. 3 of them, and then take your pick out of the other 3, down to personal play choice style. So if you like making sure that your people don't die, Shen is excellent. If you want to stun and recall and then massively kill things, Yasuo. And Zed is just a really good 3-cost champion. So I'd probably go Zed, Yasuo, Karma. Into the characters, let's do this time. Blade Scout, brilliant. Elusive when you drop it, then just goes to a 2-1, so it becomes a chump blocker unless you can bring it back, which you always can here. This is the best 2-drop in the game, in my opinion. 2-1 elusive, and you get +1 for every ally that you put down. Fae Blade Twailer, if you stun or recall, again, in a Yasuo deck, this can get out of control and become a 9-3 real quick. Keeper Masks, not bad for a couple. Recall an ally, 3 of. Get this guy, where is he? Get this guy back in your hand when you attack, and then he's elusive again. Really good. Shadow Assassin, Solitary Monk, 3s of for both. This is an elusive thing. You go for it. You really go for it. And the other one that you want is, I mean, I'm sure you've maybe heard of, or you might not have, the Kinku elusive decks. You would need a 3 of and a 3 of. At the minute, just this one is probably the best one. And then spells, oh, the spells, wow. We'll kind of do this kind of quickly. 1 of each of these. They've all got very individual things. Elusive, stun, recall. Depending on what champion you've got, that's them. Dragon's Rage is okay, but not a 3 of. But spells you need 3 Deep Meditation. Cost 2 less if you've cost 2 spells before. And when you've got access to Will of Ionia, the best thing in the world in this game. For 4 mana, it's ridiculous. It should be at least a point higher. It's not at the minute. Go for it before patch 1.5 comes out. And all these are phenomenal as well. Oh, you're going to Ruination. No, you've just spent 9 mana. I'm spending 4 and stopping that. Concussive Pound gets you a new unit, which is a 3-2. And if it gets recalled, say by Will of Ionia, it goes back into a Concussive Palm, and Twin Disciplines is absolutely brilliant. Like, it's brilliant. So those are the cards that you would need in this deck to make it really good as well. Health Potion and Recall, both really good as well. We're out of Ionia. We're into Noxus. This is dead simple. Katrina is okay, but a bit of a meme. Darius is everywhere with the aggro. May not be after the patch, but he is fantastic. So if you get 10 or less health, he becomes this monster, which is just horrendous. Draven, Swain, Vlad, Darius, again, depending on what you all want to kind of do, all are really good champions. They've all got strong points, very little weaknesses. Draven's one of the best 3-3 champions in the game at a 3-drop. He's so good. He's up there with Ezreal. Much better than Katarina. Vladimir's my favourite one. So I'd probably go Vladimir, Swain, Draven for people starting out. But if you want to play the Darius deck, then obviously get the Darius deck. It's really good. If you're using Draven, get a 1 of. I only own 1 Draven's biggest ban. That is simply because it puts this card right at the top of your deck. But then people know that that's coming next. But that's how it is. And then we get the whole Crimson package. So this is the best 2-drop in the game, period. It just is. Much as I want it to be Green Glade Geo, it's actually the Crimson Disciple. And with all the stuff that you can do in here, it just dies. This 2 cost, deal 1 to an allied follower. If it survives, create a copy of it in hand to get another one is fantastic. Deal 1 to an ally and grant it 2-0 isn't bad, but it's nowhere near as good as doing 1 to an ally to deal 2 to the enemy nexus, and if it survives damage, deal 2 to the enemy nexus. There's 4 There's the Crimson Creator, which is fantastic. If it survives damage, create a random Crimson unit in your hand. And you're getting to see that Noxus is one of the best chip damage your own units to get massive things and just throw things out. Noxian Fervor, brilliant. It's a brilliant spell. Culling Strike, brilliant, brilliant spell. Transfusion, again, do it to the Crimson Disciple. Give somebody else the 2/2. They just don't have bad cards. Like, they just don't. Noxian Guillotine is excellent. If it's damaged, create another one for free. If you can keep Noxus at least 35 to 36 cards, this is always going to be a 6/4. Crimson Awakener does 1 to every unit in there, which is just disgusting. And Intimidating Roar is brilliant in Yasuo decks. Kato the Arm is at least a 2 of, not quite a 3 of. And then we get things like Decimate, deal 4 to the enemy. Noxus, it's just horrendous. And Minotaur Reckoner, if you're playing with like Swine, really good. Again, Glintthorn, really good. Leviathan, if you're using Swain, because it draws a Swain. And Pharaon is now buffed up so that he creates 3 decimates instead of turning all your hand into decimates. You get to keep the cards you already had. That's kind of nice. Let's go to P and Z. This is simple. It's Ezreal, Vi, and Heimerdinger. There's no other choices. Yes, I love Jinx, and I've made Jinx decks. And yes, Teemo's annoying, but these guys are amazing. This is the best deck in the meta. They're going to probably fix that and nerf it. Here are the cards you need 3s of. Thermogenic Beam, definitely. Rummage, definitely. Especially if you're playing Twisted Fate. You can team up with P and Z, and off you go. If you're playing Teemo, Clump of Wumps is excellent. Mystic Shot, absolute 3 of, without a doubt. Get excited, Flash of Brilliance. If you're playing Heimer, this is it. We are the dongers of Runeterra. You know, the dongers of the turrets. Elusive, elusive, elusive. You know, anything here is getting really, really, really good. Chump Bump, really good. Mushroom Clouds in hand. Again, if you've got Ezreal, that's just, by the time he levels up, you're doing all these for free. It is ridiculous. Static Shock is a great card. Gotcha is a great card. Probably 3s of everything. And then you get into sort of like, no. Karina used to be a deck called Karina Control. You need tons of spells. So something like a Karma deck or an Ezreal deck who are dealing things to face, or Viheimer. That's not a bad one to do because it burns spells and then does 1 to each enemy for each spell that's obliterated. And Progress Day just gets a huge, massive 8/8 unit for the Donger, and off you go, and you'll see a lot of those. And then we're into my favourite region of all, and we are now into Shadow Isles. My favourite thing, because I like to kill things. The first deck most people try and do is Elise, because she's in the game, and that's wonderful, and it's spiders, and it's all great, and it's groovy, and you make it slightly better by adding better cards. This is how you're going to make better cards. Because you've already got her, we're not going for that. Maokai you only get if you want to mill. Don't do it. Hecarim, Callista, Thresh, get at least 2 of each of these, and then you can go to town. Ephemeral and things dying is what Shadow Wilds does best. It controls the board best. It can look after its Noxus the best. So Absorb Soul, Drain 4 from an ally. You've just literally hit your own spider and put 4 health into your Noxus. Phenomenal. Ravenous Butcher is superb. Superb. To kill this, to turn this into a 1/1 if that's already out, that's superb. It's not as good as killing this. To get a 4/3 was a 4/4, but it's not a 4/3. And then all the great things that die. Haunted Relics, it dies. Onslaught of Shadows dies. Shadow Chariot dies. All this stuff just really, really, really helps. It really, 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 really helps build up your board state. Soul Shepherd, if you're going down the ephemeral route, at least a 3 of. At least a 3 of these. At least a 3 of that. And then we get into the real good cards. This, kill an ally to summon 2 saplings. Do it on your attack, pull 2 units out of the way, and go to town. Frenzied Skitterer is fantastic with Elise. Phantom Prankster, deal 1 to the enemy Nexus, only costs 3. However, if you then confirm it with Neverglade Collector, you're draining 1. So now, I mean, like, you know, you got 3 units dead. You're doing 3 to there. Is 3 off them, and then another 3 off them and 3 back is a 9 damage swing. That's ridiculous. We still haven't even got into the other good stuffs like Vile's Feasts, 3 of, Black Spear, 3 of, Chronicle of Ruin, kill an ally, then revive it. You've got Wraith Caller, summon a Mist Wraiths. You've got Grasp of the Undying, drain 3 from any unit. Goodbye Remitter, goodbye Chronicle of Ruin, goodbye Scribe of Sorrows, goodbye Dead Bloom. It's, you know, good night. It's so good. Withering Wail is amazing. Vengeance and Atrocity are phenomenal. This has went from 5 to 6. Still probably the best spell in an Elise Spiders deck or a Draven Spiders deck. It's still good. Get 3. Rekindler, get 3 as it brings out your strongest dead allied champion. And then one of Ruination, Harrowing, Ledros, Rasa. They're all epic cards. They're very expensive. But you don't need them to win. There's enough in this region to survive, especially then if you link it with another region. So that is the cards I suggest you craft if you want to win more games of Legends of Runeterra. So that's the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like and subscribe. This is a Discord exclusive video. It will stay exclusive for 24 hours before we release it onto YouTube. And as we finish every video, Dong is out.